Hello and welcome to Scare Your Friends, the best Creepypasta podcast on YouTube. That's right, I'm not joking. It's just the best one that you don't know about yet. I'm here with my friends, as Dan stares at me judgingly, so I'm going to go to him last. We have Nate here.
Hello.
What's been up, Nate? What's been happening?
Nothing since the last time.
So you've just been living vicariously through the podcast?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh.
Fun fact, I hate
Dylan,
the podcast.
Dylan.
Hi.
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 Wow, this is great, guys.
Oh my god, it's
Hi.
funny.
Holy fuck, this is terrible. Oh my
So
god.
this is the very last
The
podcast.
energy is really,
It's
really low.
diminishing
It's
really
really
fast.
warm in here.
Dan's stank room is getting getting to
my
us.
stank room.
Oh
It's
my
really
God.
warm in here,
Dan.
and yeah. What's up?
What's up, man?
I'm good. I mean, that was a pretty ballsy statement you just made. So
That's not true at all.
Minute
well,
Marinara, shout out.
you know,
It's
so
not, it's not true at all.
whatever.
But anyway, today we are going to be reading a special story.
Is it a
and
lost episode?
Today we're going to be reading a very special creepypasta, which is actually titled
Oh, no.
Lost Episodes.
no,
But
no.
it was written by Slime Beast.
Oh.
Okay, it makes it better.
Okay, so my heart is now officially torn.
So,
Dan prefers Jeff the Killer.
Alright. So basically we're reading a story today called Lost Episodes. It was written by Slime Beast.
Is it
Yeah.
a poem?
So basically, this is his sort of take, I guess, on the Lost Episode genre. I recently re-listened to an interview by The Artistry. A friend of mine runs that, named Kyla Berry. Wow, I can't speak today. In her second episode, she actually interviewed Slime Beast. It's a pretty good episode. I would recommend it.
Cool.
But anyway, he basically says, or basically said, that anything new and creative is like a new challenge to him. So this is an author who's done comics, he's done video games, he's done his own gaming YouTube channel, and of course creepypasta and stuff.
Can I ask some? Is Slime Beast? Well, one. I mean, as an author, I feel like that's the challenge, right? To come up with something new and original, no matter
Right.
what genre you're doing, because everything's so fucking played out. But is Slime Beast, just out of curiosity, is he? Not that this makes any difference, or is any judge of his character or the caliber of his writing, but is he actually like officially published anywhere? Like, does he have a book series?
I
or is it just
don't know enough.
stuff?
I don't know enough about him, to be honest.
Okay, well, I was just
I think
curious.
he probably does. I don't know. He might have I think he has a graphic novel out.
Oh, really?
About Nosferatu.
I would
something like
love
that.
to read that, actually.
Nosferatu.
So yeah. But across, I think out of the hundreds of creepypastas he's written, there's a reason why no two are really the same.
Right.
He tries to. I remember in the Artistry episode, he basically didn't remember which one was his first creepypasta. He said it was either Funny Mouth or Lost Willie, which is Lost Willie is a creepypasta about. It's a ripoff of Where's Waldo.
Oh, this is a whale.
Are you serious?
Yeah. So. But it was Funny Mouth. But anyway, enough about him. Today we're going to be reading his story. So this is his take on the Lost Episodes thing. So it's literally just called Lost Episodes.
Is this a parody pasta?
I'll let you decide.
Okay.
I don't think it is
Parody
personally.
pasta?
Okay. Yeah, like when
Like what I write.
I know what
Yeah.
that
For those of you who don't know, check out Dad Cop. It's great. I promise. I totally didn't.
I did read
Troll.
is. Do you want to lose followers?
The Haunted. What did you wrote? You posted something on Too Spooky, and it was like, I forget. It was like a haunted cartridge, and his dad. You were talking about hyper realistic smoke. It was really funny.
Yeah, hyperrealistic
And
smoke.
it was like Too Spooky. It was great.
Yeah, and smoking kills kids. Anyway, so we're going to be reading the story, and just to get Dan's hopes up, I'm going to let him read the first.
Oh, okay.
The first sentence. So just read it. This is Lost Episodes. Dan,
Lost
start.
Episodes. I don't want to burst anyone's bubble here. So, if you believe in haunted Lost Episode legends and enjoy living in that world, maybe this isn't the post for you.
It's okay.
Wonderful.
So yeah, I imagine he must have seen the Squidward Suicides of the World and maybe a few others, and basically said, I think I have a different idea.
Take a shot, yeah.
For maybe not a shot at them, but maybe just to establish
yeah.
that he's not gonna do the whole hyper realistic blood and all that other stuff.
The bullshit that makes lost episodes bad.
Well, some could be good.
Dylan's words, not mine, but I agree.
Alright, you can continue, Dan.
Okay, don't get me wrong, I hate when people complain about lack of realism in entertainment, and I think all kids need to believe in Santa and the Tooth Fairy for as long as possible, but this is different. Thanks, John!
Sorry, I'm cough. Yeah, I have a really bad cough right now.
Back in the 80s, I met this dude, Sid, who used to cut old VHS tapes and shit. It was more than a hobby for him. It was pretty much his entire life. His parents... For those of you who are listening and don't know, VHS tapes were the things before DVDs.
Yeah.
Nate!
What?
It was around. Was Nate around?
Yes.
You were around.
I'm
Of
sure
course
I'm
he was.
He's a
joking.
90s baby.
I'm the young one.
His parents were a bit more wealthy than I'd been blessed with, so when we were teenagers and I was slaving away at this Scats? What is, fast food restaurant.
Scats.
See, I don't even know, that one was way over my head. He just hung around the house cutting tapes all day long. Of course, as you get older, things in your past become a bit clearer, and I think he might have been borderline autistic, or maybe he was a very high-functioning person with Asperger's. It's ironic considering the conversation we had last night, but of course I'm no expert.
Oh, come on.
And I'm not saying that was the case. Nothing bad. I'm not saying that was the case. It's just the best and quickest way I can think of to explain his personality, his obsession with cutting tapes.
Alright, Dylan, want to take over?
It started when he...
We're going clockwise now? Unprecedented.
Wait,
Sorry.
no,
It's
it's
counterclockwise, you
this
shit.
way.
Oh, you're right.
He's back in first grade.
I'm dumb.
It started when he saw Old Yeller as a little kid. For whatever reason, his parents let him watch that shit. If you're unfamiliar with it, it's the tale of a boy and his dog. I hope I don't have to announce the spoiler on such an old-ass movie, but in the end, the boy has to shoot his own dog because it's rabid.
Oh, spoilers.
Dude!
Santa Claus isn't real.
Oh, fuck.
Sid didn't appreciate this. His dad photographed and videotaped weddings, so he showed Sid how to operate some of the machines, and Sid cut out the ending, replacing it with an earlier, happier scene as if Old Yeller just suddenly got better off-screen. He watched the tape obsessively after that, even into his early teens when I first met him. He made me watch it once to show how he fixed it, and I could actually picture him as a little boy once he started applauding and cheering his own faux ending. I don't want to say I was a bad influence, but after I saw it, I asked if he can do that with other movies.
Oh no.
Oh, dun, dun, dun.
So I actually already like this idea way better than the actual Lost episodes.
Well, you don't like the idea of a lost episode of Dead Bar?
No. The concept of the Lost episodes is interesting, but I already like this take on this. That it's not.
Yeah.
It's instead of it being the tape was tampered with and we don't know where it's from and
God, it's haunted. Smoking kills.
This is just some weird kid who's like socially, not socially inept to some capacity, cutting tapes, so we know where they're coming from. So I already like this.
You want to take over?
My major interest was perhaps taking a film or two and cutting it in some. I thought it said rude. Some nude frames that actress hadn't
Sorry,
really
I am
done.
coughing the hell today. It's really annoying.
Don't worry though, I never had the guts to actually ask if he would. I just imagine how cool it would be often.
I just want to say real quick that although all Slime Beast stories are different, there is a signature in most of his stories, and that is he always makes the main protagonist a total asshole.
A little bit of a
He does. He did that. He did that kind of with the parent. Well, he didn't really do it with Whimsy Wood, but he did kind of do that with Funny Mouth with Charles Watts, and he's doing it now with. He was like, "Oh, I want to see." Maybe not bad, just kind of like not perfect.
Everybody's got a little darkness to him.
Yeah.
Some more than others.
Sid told me that yes, he could fix any movie he wanted to. In fact, he had done it with a few others. He had a copy of a Ghostbusters cartoon, and I shit you not, every single ghost was completely removed. Oh god. The story made no sense. There was no continuity, but he had accomplished it, and I was very impressed.
And it was really strange. All the ghosts were removed, and all of them were female. I don't know how they even.
Oh my god, it's great.
I guess in the time of VHS, these things seemed more magical than they do nowadays.
As time went by, I encouraged Sid to edit more movies, but with different purposes. Instead of whitewashing all the scary stuff like he wanted to, I got him to see the light on how awesome he can make things. Somewhere out there, this chubby Star Wars nerd from high school has all 3 original films flawlessly cut together with edited in effects that would make George Lucas himself cry out, "Enough meddling!" We charged him like $20 for the only copy because we were idiots. Anyway, this went on for a while before I lost my interest in it. It was more of a goof for me than it was for him. This is the point where I started working, started driving, started taking bases with the local girls, while he was just got more and more involved with cutting those tapes. I think his favorites were cartoons. When The Simpsons came around, he went apeshit with those. Now his edits weren't so much fixing things as just breaking them in interesting ways. Another thing that sticks out in my mind is when he recorded an episode of MASH and cut it with an old gory war flick. Halfway through his version, the camp gets bombed, the soldiers invade, and everyone dies. At the end, he specifically worked in freeze frames on each cast member's face, eyes closed.
So is this
this
the
the reason
origin for the Dead Bard episode?
Oh no.
Maybe. Who knows?
Um,
No, because VHS, but yeah, maybe.
well, you don't know.
It could be tying into it.
They could, yeah.
I think in Dead Body downloaded it off the...
Yeah, but you could. There are ways to do that.
It's
Alright.
creepypasta, John.
John's
Nate
face.
brings up the best point.
John's face to Nate.
It's fiction! He had completely reversed his interest and embraced what had once terrified him. Scary endings. He seemed to love things like long, drawn-out sequences and terrifying silence. He'd make me be quiet while I played too. Well, that's not fucking bizarre. You may have heard about this mysterious fellow named Banksy who goes around creating interesting graffiti and whatnot. At one point, he went to a music store and replaced some Paris Hilton CDs with his own fakes.
Paris Hilton has CDs.
Yeah, she had an album.
Oh, God.
I'm not joking. Yeah, she had, unfortunately. You probably know the song if you heard it, believe it or not.
Don't tell me.
Banksy had nothing on Sid. Every other week he'd tell me about some store or video rental place he'd snuck some of his tapes into. That's kind of cool. He swapped out the real ones for his versions and then he'd start all over by cutting the ones he had stolen. At one point, when I hadn't heard from him in a long time, I stopped by his parents' house and found him in the garage. He set up his own little movie studio down there, complete with a drawing board. This is like that movie with Jack Black and Mos Def.
That's what I was immediately
Yes.
thinking of. Yes.
Oh,
Is it Rewind or something?
Be Kind Rewind,
That's
that's
it.
what it was. That was a good movie. Where they sweded them. They made their own versions. Yeah.
John doesn't know what we're talking about.
He was actually animating entirely new content. All at once, I was both blown away by his artistic skill I'd never seen before, and very concerned about when this guy was going to come out of the dark and start acting normal, like me. He barely looked up from his drawings as we spoke. I asked him what any kid now in his late teens would ask. What the fuck is wrong with you? Seriously, dude, this is some crazy ass shit. It's work. I'm working. My work is just as important as anyone else's. Are you even selling these anymore, or are you just sneaking them into places? How much is all of this costing your dad? I don't care. I looked at what he was so fervently illustrating.
Fervently?
Fervently illustrating. Is that a headless body? Dancing? Yeah. That's pretty dark, man. You okay?
Do you remember that scene in Evil Dead 2?
Oh, God.
Absolutely.
Oh, God. I know, that's the point. I don't get it. Those tapes, I thought they were wrong, but over time, I figured out the truth. Which is, the scary stuff is right. The happy endings are the lie. Come on, dude.
Oh boy. This is a little goosebumpsy.
Speaking of Jack Black.
Yeah.
Alright, he just kept drawing as I stood there. The silence was disturbing, and in that moment I could smell the BO coming off of him. It wasn't just sweat either. It was a mingling of that and a foul ass and piss-soaked claw.
Oh.
I hate to say it, but I gave up on him right then. It's that moment when you look at someone you thought you knew, and all that you can think is, holy shit, I never realized they were this far gone. It was until I was in my 30s that Sid crossed my mind again. I was pursuing the internet, just aimlessly wandering the web, when I came across a series of urban legends about strange VHS tapes,
You lying sack of
recut
shit.
movies, and lost episodes.
No! You lying sack of shit!
What did I lie about? I didn't
You
say
said,
anything.
oh, this has nothing to do with that.
Wait,
He
let me
didn't say anything.
let me finish this paragraph. Some of these I recognized. I'd watched them with Sid, or I'd actually seen him in the middle of working on them. Every disturbing scene, every unbelievable antidote, I believed it because I had been there. John, can you please take this next one?
Others, SpongeBob cartoons, episodes of iCarly or whatever, those shows came long after I made my break with Sid. But the style was all too familiar. Even the ones that didn't sound like his work seemed like they could have been broken copies or attempts of mimicking his work. He was still doing it. My God, it boggled my mind. I called up Sid's old number, not entirely sure I'd still find him there. It rang for minutes on end. I knew that the search was hopeless. Even if he still lived with his parents, it wasn't likely they all still be in the same house by now. Still, I made it a point to drive out to his old place to see if he was still in that garage, cutting tapes, or manipulating them via computer, or whatever he would be up to. When I passed by the house, the unkept lawn was overgrown with huge waist-high weeds. The dilapidated facade of the building, with its peeling paint on its shutters, missing roof tiles, and muck-filled gutters, told me that no one had lived here for a long time. I saw the note on the door. I couldn't read it from the road. Maybe it was something I could use to locate Sid, and see if he ever gotten the help I now realize I probably should have given him. Pulling into the driveway, my headlights illuminated the garage door. It was windowless, and vandalized with the gangster tags of some traveling band of assholes. I'll let you take over.
The note on the door, as one might expect, spoke of a certain bank now owning the property. It noted that trespassing was heavily discouraged and that at a certain point someone would be out to make sure the house was winterized, whatever the hell that is. As I walked back to the car, defeated, something was nagging at me. I knew that Sid's parents kept a spare key under a false rock by the back stairs, basically by virtue of Sid locking us both out on several occasions. When I found the key, a sense of cold, gnawing dread swirled in my stomach. Who would move out and leave everything in a place like this? The key was the most obvious thing, but flower pots and lawn decorations were still there. Sid's old, rusted-out Huffy bike was leaning against the house, and it created thick, rusty streaks along the aluminum siding. I don't even know what I expected to find, but using the key, I entered the house. The smell was overwhelming.
Somebody's dead. Not a putrid smell, nothing rotten or decaying. Just the smell of, I don't know if this would make any sense to you, but the smell of electricity, like burning dust on a light bulb, or a heater giving off a peculiar warm metal odor.
I kind of get that. I had to, the first time I read this, I had to kind of, go back and read
I can
that.
smell that.
But yeah, it makes some sense. I don't know how to really describe
So
it.
I can say peculiar.
Don't you guys love our podcast? We're just fumbling over every word. We're definitely the most fucking skilled people to do something
We're the
like this.
best podcast.
Podcast
Yeah.
of
We're
all
skilled.
time.
Totally!
Not just creepypasta, just of all fucking time.
Right, you just don't know it yet.
Yet. That was the least of my concerns, however, as I saw everything just as I had left it. Everything Sid's family owned was frozen in time. The dining room table we'd all sat at many occasions was dust covered, and supported an emaciated dead rat which had all but turned to dust.
Skinny,
Okay.
starving.
Okay.
I don't know if you knew.
No, I know.
Okay.
The television, that bulky, oversized television set we'd all sat around to watch Sid's tapes and laud his creativity. It sat where it always had been, silently displaying a violent bombardment of black and white static. As I moved through the rooms, the sense of panic and discomfort within me only grew. Every fiber of my being was shouting, "Run! Run, you fucking idiot!" Still, I pressed on into Sid's bedroom. It was now empty and in disrepair. His prized actions figures and blank videotapes, hundreds of videotapes, stale and water damaged. I almost wanted to call out, to shout, "Sid!" and wait for him to appear as if nothing was out of the ordinary. I went into his parents' bedroom. There, lying in bed, were two motionless bodies, gaunt, gray, half turned to dust, just like the rat in the dining room. I could scarcely believe I was seeing with my own eyes. Not only there were two dead bodies slowly dissipating. Dissipating.
Yeah.
Thank you. Within the confines of this once
Idyllic.
suburban household, but nobody had even checked on them. Nobody had discovered this until now.
We're having a rough day today.
No, I'm having a rough
That's
day.
all right.
So what do we think so far? Let's take a short break and figure out what's
They
happening.
said, "Sid,
here.
enough of your tapes. Let's get out, get some fresh air."
What are we all thinking about?
There's a short story I read in high school that was very similar to this about a woman in town that she was like
Gold digger?
No. She was a loner or whatever, and somebody disappeared, and then they found his body half melted into the bed after she passed away or some shit. Yeah, something similar. But as of right now, I really, really like this. I don't. It's not really scary. I'm not really spooked out by it by some of the other stories, but like it's
yet.
a really interesting idea.
You want to know how it ends?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. And I'm kind of.
I'm interested to see what happens to Sid. My guess is he's just a big fat fuck sitting in a chair that just died.
What's your guesses for Sid right now?
He's a big fat fuck that
just
died
sitting there drawing.
He animated himself into a tape so he could live forever.
He's a narcissist.
No, but I think this is a
means?
really cool idea. In terms of like explaining where lost episodes come from, it's pretty cool.
I like to tie him to Simpsons, the SpongeBob thing.
Yeah.
With school for suicide and Dead Bart and stuff.
Why the fuck do I keep losing my spot?
My mind raced.
What? Yeah.
I think it's I scarcely believe. I could.
So
Scarcely...
we read that. No, it's my mind race, but I just for some reason lost it.
Okay.
My mind raced, my heart raced, and the only things that would move were my feet, which remained glued to the spot. Sid, I thought, must have done this. There was no way that two of them would just lie one night and simultaneously die of natural causes. Sid had said he didn't care about his parents. And when was the last time I had seen them? God, I hadn't seen them for days, maybe weeks before he last.
Before the last time I talked to Sid.
Oh shit!
Find your spot, Nate?
Yeah.
Okay.
When I finally left the room, I took out my cell phone and began dialing 911. However, as soon as I lifted my head, oh my god, an ear-splitting shriek of interference nearly caused me to fling the object across the room. I rushed to the kitchen phone, squealing static. I tried the living room phone just to be thorough static. It wasn't until I pulled the receiver back down that I heard it. Music. Faint, barely audible music that I hadn't noticed before. It seemed to be some repeating melody, happy and light. Some flutes, maybe a whole horn section. I followed the peppy tune to the in-house door to the garage. Pressing my ear to the door's dirty surface, I determined that the music was indeed coming from just beyond. Sid, I called out, barely managing to form the name with cold, bloodless lips. Sid, are you in there? Are you all right?
I tried the door only to find it somehow locked from the other side. It was no matter, since one wild kick nearly knocked the rotting wood off its hinges. Sid! I shouted as the dust slowly cleared. Through the haze, I could only see the light of a television screen. Vibrant colors, blue, green, yellow. Soon, I could make out a cartoon playing on the screen. Then the silver wires running from the set itself to some dark mass. Then the dark mass took shape as my eyes adjusted to the odd lighting. It was Sid, or rather his body, not dead nearly as long as his parents, seated in the office chair. The wires from the television set led directly to his body, eventually disappearing into several old, crusted over holes in his leathery flesh. Through the still worm-eaten open in it, through a small worm-eaten opening in his ribs,
Tasty.
I thought I could see more metal inside him. I walked to Sid's side, holding my hand over my mouth for fear of vomiting. His face was twisted hideous, a wide grin. His empty eye sockets almost seemed happy, hooded by the pleased brow line. "Hi there," I heard a jarring voice.
Oh, God.
The voice was upbeat, high-pitched. It sounded almost like Sid, but different, bubbly, cartoony.
Get the...
I turned to the screen, the green grass, the blue sky, the yellow flowers, and Sid.
I called it,
A
dude.
perfect
Caricature.
caricature of... Oh, my God. Caricature of him.
That English degree is working wonders right now.
I don't have that. It strolled along the infinite loop of the utopian cartoon backgrounds. It waved to me. "Sid?" I whispered. "Oh, God. Sid." He, the cartoon version of him, turned his attention away from me and continued to merrily stroll across that unending cycle of the same backdrop. He passed a shrub, then passed it again, and again. The same bluebird, chirping happily, flew through the sky in a figure eight. "Sid," I shook my head, still unable to comprehend the scenario. I should have never left you.
Not you leave reality.
Reality. I thought about what Sid had done to his mom and dad. I thought about how the bank would come by soon, and this will come to light. I watched Sid walk along for nearly half an hour, and then I unplugged the set.
Whoa. Whoa.
I want to know what happened to his parents.
I think he
He probably murdered them.
So that was a lost episode.
Maybe
It was
It
the
was the-
Lost
yeah, it was
Episodes.
the
Lost
Lost
maybe he was
episodes.
watching the Terminator.
Listen, my biggest question
We
is,
don't care.
if this is a prequel to all these other Lost Episodes, right?
Yeah.
How great could Sid have been? Because Bart's Nightmare and Squidward Suicide suck. Just
Well,
joking.
he mentions a couple other things too.
Well, it's implied. I really like the idea of the story. I think it's a really it's a
cool.
really interesting, original, like we talked about at the beginning before we even started the story, take on where the Lost Episodes come from.
And it leaves a lot of questions to answer,
That's
like
true.
what happened to his parents? Is that really sitting there? Like,
It's pretty cool.
The way that I interpreted it was he got depressed and he built this utopia where he put himself in there,
Yeah.
and he got so depressed that he tried to go in
Yeah.
to his world.
Yeah.
Or maybe it is haunted. I don't know. It could be.
No, I think
he watched the Terminator, I think, too many times. Like, I want to be a machine.
no, but I mean, yeah, just based on the description of him actually like plugging wires into himself, he was trying to like teleport his conscience
It's
into
like transcendence.
the TV. Yeah, kind of.
That's a really disturbing idea that he's just
It is. It's
sticking
fucked up.
wires into himself. And
Yeah.
He's just like, let's do this.
I'm gonna plug into the Matrix.
Incubate him.
Yeah,
it's like in his chest. There's holes.
I really like the story. It did fall into the. I mean, well, no, yes and
Falls
no.
into the kind of a little ludicrous.
Well, no, not even that.
I
But
think
the whole,
most. I mean, Funny Mouth was ludicrous.
the whole gore,
Yeah.
the whole gore thing. It still falls into that. This is.
Oh.
But like not in a bad way though. Like Squidward Suicide or the
It's okay to use
Or
gore in Creepypasta,
Simpson.
but the problem
Right.
is gore is not fundamentally scary on its own. It's,
Right,
if it's
and-
used to.
well, I think
help.
when we were talking about the Lost Episodes in one of our previous podcasts, that was the thing that Will pointed out, that they always get caught up in like gore, and then it sort of
Drifts.
fucks the story up.
Yeah.
And this one has that, but it's appropriate, I think.
based on the description.
Yeah.
Also, it's not even like gory; it's just a fried body.
Yeah, it's just disgusting.
It's like a little
Which is
disturbing, maybe.
Yeah. So, I mean, this isn't really spooky like some of the other stories we've read, but it's a cool.
Is it-
I like that it's a cool
Is it
origin
creepy?
story.
Aren't creepypastas?
It's a little bit.
Yeah.
Aren't
most
sorry
of the
to
time.
interrupt.
No.
Aren't the creepypastas supposed to be kind of like set in semi real life a bit?
Well,
This
they can.
was
They
though.
can't.
It can.
Like when I saw
Creepypasta
when I-
is like an umbrella that falls under many
Yeah,
different
so-
categories.
Yeah, but see, like, because when I saw that, when I at the end when you see the little caricature of him on the screen, I was like, why is this falling into like this sci-fi? How
It's
get
not.
the sci-
I mean, it,
No,
it could be
Dylan's right.
plausible.
Dylan's right.
It could be plausible if you accept the fact that it's not him haunted. You could accept it that Sid made this little thing for himself
little cartoon,
prior
yeah.
to killing himself, and he thought it was so real
Like
to him that he wanted to be in it. So he haphazardly hooked some wires. You know how you like hook wires into your Nintendo system?
Yeah.
Maybe with his
Your
own
old Nintendo system.
You know,
Nipple
maybe his
clamps.
backwards logic. He thought, I'll put the wires into me,
Yeah.
and
I wanna
I'll
live
transfer
forever.
into
Well, it's
the.
like the Jurassic Park. He didn't say a magic word.
Alright.
This is a really cool story.
I like it.
Yeah.
Nate, what did you think?
Yeah, Dan's right. It's not scary necessarily. I found it more just slightly horrific.
It's like informative more than anything.
Yeah, it was. I thought
that's
it was
what's cool
cool
about
that it was like a little prequel thing how he did
Yeah.
that. And
It
was
gets you.
very
It gets you
clever.
thinking too. Like with the whole prequel thing, it's like, oh, is it this
Yeah.
related to this? Related to this?
He put little,
Yeah,
little
kind of.
jokes in there with like Bart and SpongeBob.
Yeah.
I thought it was cool.
But he never specifically. He just hints at it. He
Right.
says SpongeBob episodes,
Which is what
but
is
that's
cool.
it.
Yeah, that's why it makes it
And then he
cool,
says
yeah.
iCarly episodes.
It's
he
in
says,
an homage.
which I don't even know how you would do that with iCarly.
Oh, I'm
There's
sure.
one-
someone-
Yeah, you could just cut the thing. Oh, you could do it
Oh,
with
come
yellow.
on! They do a lot of things with that stuff.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, I liked it.
Yeah, I like the story a lot. I do have some questions about that. I mean, I do have one significant problem with it, that his parents are perceived to be rich, and that's how Sid's able to do this, yet nobody notices them dead for
Yeah, that's true.
10, 15 years,
Yeah.
or however long it's been.
Yeah.
From the protagonist was in his late teens,
And the
he
house
got
was
there in his
the house
30s.
was in fine condition, correct?
No, it wasn't. It was decaying.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
There's
and
no
that's
sign. No, but there's like no sign of
Life,
burning.
yeah, but
No
they,
sign of burning or.
Well,
you
the
think,
bank-
you think somebody would have
the bank
gone
put
in
a
there?
note on the door basically saying, we're gonna winterize it, which I think means just tear it down.
Evict.
Well, not evict, just tear down. I think it's
Yeah, but nobody went to
that's
nobody called the cops or anything.
No one went
That's-
to
that's
check.
where
They don't have
it's a
family.
bad
They don't
movie.
have
That's
the only thing.
the dad's rich but doesn't have any people who might.
Yeah,
need
nobody.
him.
Well, whatever.
There's a killer and there's no one in the house. I'm like, what the fuck's going on? Where's
Well,
the
it's
cops?
implied that I think Sid killed them. I think that's
Right.
what it implies, and he's implying that Sid killed them
Well,
before
while
he
they were
bef-
still-
yeah,
yeah.
before.
But they did.
Which
See,
is
that
cool.
was the thing too. Like they didn't. They didn't explain. Like,
Which
there
maybe
was
that's
marks,
how it is.
But
Yeah,
I
but-
think there's marks on the bodies.
Yeah,
There's
but
covered in
I
dust.
think that we don't know how his parents
It's
died or how
possible
Sid
that-
killed him
Sorry.
is better, because then you get
More
that
ideas.
gory bullshit that lost episodes fall into sometimes. You know what I mean?
Also, with you can make the argument that he killed his parents, and then I don't know, maybe when people went to the door, he would be there to kind of maybe hide the bodies.
That's
That's
true.
a possibility.
That's
I just
true.
can't see that he wouldn't have any family
Right.
aside from his two parents. But it's possible. I'm willing to throw that out the window though, just to get the sort of benefit of the doubt.
What would have been cool is if, like, and this is like the first suggestion I'm throwing out there, and like from any, well, that's not true, but like a first like real suggestion were like, what if like he's going into the room and there's just like two tapes marked like with Sid's parents' names, so he made like he killed them.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
That'd be cool, but at the same time, he's like, oh, he never really cared for his parents. So that's totally understandable, but it would have been cool if, like, he stumbled upon, like, a tape with, or two tapes with
It
their
leaves you
names
with
on it.
questions on to what has happened to this guy.
Right.
Like they don't show like they show he was like.
There's also a lot of cringy
Water.
stories out there that don't understand how autism works.
Right.
And it's like the guy was a killer because he had autism, and that's
Yeah.
like that's not how it works. It's just the way it was explained to me by so my mom works with special needs kids and stuff like that. 30 years, she's a great person.
Cool kids.
But anyway,
Shout
she
out to
basically
Mom.
explained to me that imagine like an outlet like that. What are these called?
Like
Power.
It's a three-pronged outlet. Or
Yeah, like imagine like a bunch of outlets, and they're all plugged in a certain way, and the normal way is to plug it in like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Imagine if like 5 is plugged into 2 and 1 is plugged into 3 and 3 is plugged into 1. It's like mixed up. That's what autism is. It's functional. The person is still functionally.
Functional, yeah.
It's just
socially.
there's a different perspective and a
right.
different way the brain operates.
That's an apt metaphor, actually.
Because
good.
that's why you have people who that's why you have some people who can like memorize phone books.
Right.
But they can't do like basic, like they need help to eat.
Well, it's interesting because that aside in the story isn't really needed. Could have just been some weird kid that just didn't, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But,
And also, he
you
never
know.
says he has it. He
He
says-
just assumes.
He
right.
says he probably did, but
Right.
I don't know. There's something up with him.
You know, and that's fine. It's a little unnecessary tidbit, but I mean, all in all, this is a cool concept, a cool idea that sort of explains all the other stuff we read that came before. But yeah, I mean, like,
Makes up
Well,
for it.
forget
Right.
because if you listen to this, like if we heard this first and then we heard, then we did Dead Bart
we'd just
and
be making.
we'd be saying like, oh,
Lost
it's
episodes
references to this. We'd be
I
making.
did.
references to
I
this.
think I did confirm this. I don't know the exact date this was made. I'm pretty sure Dead Bart and Squidward Suicide are both older than this story.
Yeah, I would assume so.
That makes more
Yeah.
sense.
That would make sense. I
But
guess.
anyway,
But you know, like you said, Slime Beast takes an idea, and he grapples with it, and he makes a story out of it. And I think this was super successful in terms of what we can assume he was going for.
in
This is
his
a really cool idea.
in his interview with Artistry, he did cite 3 stories that he's most known for, which is this one, Funny Mouth, and Abandoned by Disney, which we'll do eventually.
I would love to. I keep hearing stuff about Abandoned by Disney.
We'll do it
about, like,
eventually. It's
anything.
gonna be something special though, because that's his
Isn't it,
most known one.
3 parts or something.
It's 4.
4 parts.
Well, no, he made
100th episode.
He made sequels. He made sequels to it. And speaking of sequels, there actually is a sequel to Lost Episodes called, I think it's called Sid's Story or something like that.
Interesting.
So maybe in the future, if the listeners want to hear us read that one,
As
maybe-
Dylan and Nate Google Sid story.
don't Google it.
I'm joking.
Whatever.
Pokemon Go.
We're playing Pokemon Go right now. Unbelievable. We can't remain professional for 5
We
seconds.
can't escape.
All right. Speaking of unprofessionalism, let's go to Dylan's section. Melinda scale time.
Oh yeah.
Only
You
let's
just
just
said
let's
that.
just have
No.
just to shorten this. Let's just have Dylan do it.
A
What's the
short
Melinda
round.
scale for The unnamed protagonist, actually. He never gives a name.
This story really.
Okay, so he goes in. So let me go over his actions. Let's just for the record.
Okay.
He's a man in his 30s. He sees these weird, like, lost episode stories that nobody believes, but he believes it because he was there for some of them. And then the newer stuff, he sees them work and the mimics and all that.
But
So he has to drive over to his house wherever he lives. Drives to the old house, goes into the house, and for some reason keeps exploring it.
And tells himself, my mind keeps telling me to run, but I'm ignoring it.
It kind of reminds me a little bit of Barbie.avi when he's exploring the house.
A little. But that
The
guy.
difference is the moment
that.
the moment that character heard the noise, he bails.
Fucking
bails.
Anyway, I will lean more towards Melinda.
Why?
Because if you were to say the protagonist, would you go into the room, go in the house, go, hey, I know.
Well, if Sid is somebody you used to care about and you're concerned.
Yeah, but after the parents, dude.
After
Yeah,
the
I
parents
don't
would be like, I'm done.
Fair enough.
I'm out.
But he did try to call the parent. He did try to call 911, and then all this static shit happened. His phone wasn't working. He couldn't call 911 right away. So all this static shit's happening in the house.
Get out of the house.
That's true. Okay. Yeah, fair enough.
Run out of the house. Yeah, because if you don't run out of the house, then you're just as bad as Melinda.
No one could be as bad as Melinda.
No, to be fair. She ran out of the house and got
We
stabbed
got
in the eye.
thousands of stories we got to go over. I'm sure there's someone worse than Melinda out there. And I can't wait to meet him.
So far, no.
All right. Well, yeah, I think that concludes it. I give this story a thumbs up. I think we all pretty much give this story.
I give this story 8.5 pumpkins out of 10.
Get out.
I'll give it just thumbs up, thumbs down. I'm gonna give it a thumbs up.
Thumbs up.
All right.
I'm gonna
So
give
that was
one thumb up.
Lost
one
Episodes
thumb
by
half.
Slime Beast. This has been Scare Your Friends. And always remember, stay awesome. And always remember to scare your friends.
We're gonna go catch Pokemon.
Those are just